Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mary Hosford, and I am the chairperson for this meeting. And it is with great pleasure that I welcome all of you who are with us at the Bay in Island Harbour, and all listening via Radio Anguilla and Class FM. I pause at this time and I ask Peggy Penales to lead us in prayer.
Good night, everyone. Let us bow our heads for a word in prayer. Most gracious and heavenly Father, we thank you so much for bringing us all here safely tonight, for granting us traveling mercies. We are so grateful that you have allowed us to come together seeking refuge in your candidate this evening. Please wash her in your blood and assist her in all of her endeavoring activities for this country. We humbly ask your Lord to please bless the proceedings of this meeting and help us to look to you for guidance and strength. Glorious Father, please intervene and place your hands on all the speakers speaking tonight. Father God, I just want to thank you for your everlasting mercy. I want to thank you for all of your children present this evening, even those listening on the radio and on in line. Please help us to keep you at the center of every decision made during this campaign. Please bless us all, Father, and let thine will be done. Amen.
Thank you, Peggy. You know, it is our belief that God is in control of everything, and we give him the praise and the glory and ask for his divine guidance in all that we do. We will now have the national song by Kashama Lewis.
God bless Anguilla, nurture and keep her noble and beauty as she stands midst the sea. O land of the happy, a haven will make thee. All lies and love we give unto thee. With hearts and souls we'll build a nation proud, strong and free. We love her, hold her, dear to our hearts for eternity. Let truth and right our banner be. We'll march and
Thank you, Keshama, for that beautiful rendition of our national song. Please give this young lady another round of applause. My people, tonight on the platform, we have a number of supporters who will be presenting before the candidate, that is Pam Webster, the independent candidate vying for political office to represent the electoral district of Island Harbour, District 1, under the symbol, the fish, in the upcoming general elections in Anguilla. Our first speaker tonight is Terence Webster, a well-known resident of District 1. Terry is a fisherman, and we know that this is the main industry in this area. He's also a musician, a singer, guitarist, and has thrilled many a crowd, whether as a solo artist or with a group. Please welcome him with a round of applause as he comes to the podium. Terry.
Thank you. Good evening. I adopt the same protocol that was already established. I want to describe Pam tonight. It seems like everybody knows Pam, but I think I know Pam. Not a little more, a lot more than everybody else. The reason for it is I live 10 seconds away from Pam Webster. The whole of Island Harbour could attest to that. You would hear them say, she fake. You would hear a couple people say that this and that, and they know Pam. They don't know Pam. Let me tell you about Pam. From Pam being a child and could have helped people, she did that. She continued in her life doing that up to now. They talk about parties. How is it that the parties miss years ago before Pam decided to go into politics? How the parties miss that they could do something for a working father, working mother by putting a center where the children or the child could be safe after school till they come from work. The party missed that. They did. An individual saw that, Pam Webster. That was years before she entered into politics. The beach, Island Harbour Beach, where all started. The father of the nation, the Honorable James Ronald Webster, Wilkin Harrigan, all those guys, whoever was involved, Uncle God rest and bless him. She saw Siliki was a must-see for tourism. A clean environment would be the perfect spectrum for Island Harbour. She got people for the beach and cleaned that up. For years, in politics yet, the party or the parties missed that. Okay? They missed that. Good. We going. We still going. Pam went to, after she came from school and worked for the government, Pam opened her office, her own office in 1987. Pam office been climbing and building and moving and helping and doing ever since. We in 2014, if you please. Okay? She entered in the last election almost 5 years ago. She lost. Did Pam discontinue her doing? The daycare center is still up and running stronger than ever. The beach is still cleaning and add more to it, and she ended up putting another one in the pond ground after losing. The party missed that too. Okay? Pam has a business that went to heights and higher heights and higher heights and higher heights. I can tell you something else. If Pam had an egg farm, you would have been able to buy eggs from it up to tonight. Okay? That's who Pam is. You can't get no eggs. To discontinue, to terminate it, you can't get none. But you could still go by Pam in her office after 20-something years and get whatever you want. What we think about that? The party missed that one too. Okay, we can go a little step further than that. I really want to know who Pam is. Let me tell you. Let me tell you the courage under fire that this young lady is in stand for. In 1977, Pam entered the competition, Queen Show competition in Anguilla. Walked from Uncle Art Place with Anna Harrigan to the Lansam Bowl, compete and win. And win. See Anna, they are living. And win, if you please. Walk it. Today, we don't want to walk from here by the bakery and attacking from about Sandy Hill, if you please. I want Noel Supamism talking about the independent candidate. Much I probably didn't hear or heard about Rosa Parks. I would have to explain you that because the young people don't know who she is. She was a lady who refused to get up. A black lady who refused to get up to relinquish her seat to a white person who was for years been doing it, and she refused. She make the London Times, she make the New York Times, and she make the BBC, if you please. She wasn't in a party. She was a sole individual. Okay? No party. I'm going to go a little further. Which the young people might know this. The song that a lot of political people use. You're still a hero to me, Sarah, in Barbados. She was one woman. The lyrics don't say one party. One woman who set education free and make it possible for you and me. It was one woman. Okay? Sarah, one woman. Let me bring you a little closer to home. The father of the nation went to Barbados with 7 or 8 delegates. He was the leader. His signature would have been enough alone because he was the leader of all those who went. But the other signatures, without his, would have been invalid. So with their signatures, along with his, it had to be unanimous. All the rest, some of you that's here on the radio up to date, all signed, except one man, the Honorable James Ronald Webster. One man made the difference. He was with a party, but it was he standing, make us not back to St. Kitts Nevis as we are today. So you don't come and tell me nothing about an independent candidate and a party. An independent candidate is governed, chosen, and led by the people, for the people. A party candidate is governed and led by the party, for the party. And some of them can't even win without being in a party. A lot of people has gotten to government office because of parties, because of people who you would back in a party and say, well, okay, I can do this because of so and so. You didn't do it from the heart. The cornerstone, since parties is so good, and this and that is so good, and we don't need people, they're calling the Honorable Kenneth Harrigan a dead horse. Well, let me tell you something. If that horse dead, I wouldn't want to be the jockey on it. That horse got the venom, that horse got the speed, that horse got the quality, that horse got the drive to come to the finish line anytime, wherever the wind blowing from. That horse could take and come home. So let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out with this dead business. Are you talking? Pam is loved and respected by many. She, of course, very highly. Very highly. And on the day of election, whenever the election is announced, forget the let me tell you this. Them talk about where she was going. You know what they should be talking? Where them coming. Because if I going somewhere to meet you, you got to come in to meet me. When the tunnel was dug from Dover to Calais, in England and France, there were two engineers. One of the wonders of the world. One came from the north, one came from the south. They meet within 1 inch of accuracy. So, saying that you going alone and I coming. People who smart in politics today should be looking for dialogue, to be doing dialogue with a member of District 1. Right now. Because at some point in time, we're going to need to meet. Pam is loved and respected by many, and may be coveted by a few. But history has proved the few had never overcome the many. Never! And I am proud to stand or sit and tell you that District 1 would seriously benefit for a candidate like Pam Webster. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Terry. The power of one. You just need one. We believe in the ripple effect. One drop and it spreads, and look out, you have a whole wave moving. And I can tell you that Pam, by standing as an independent candidate and being a woman at that, is causing that wave, not only in Anguilla, but other islands as well. Thank you for that, Terry. We're going to just ask Vernon to come and say a few words.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Anguillians and friends. It's a pleasure beyond measure to be a part of this lovely gathering. But it's time for us to study a little of the past in order to build a future. The 47 years of sailing, we have to look back and see how far have we come. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to give tribute to James Ronald Webster for his vision for his people. He has came a long way. We had a lot of chief ministers, but his record has spoken very clearly for itself. The social security building is the biggest vision Anguilla have seen in 47 years. And thanks to Mr. James Ronald Webster, and may he have a long and pleasant life. And he never died as long as the Social Security Office is running. So Ronald Webster, you are there for good. I wish you Godspeed, and we are here for you. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Anguilla, my native land, will and giving to us by God's pure hand. Every day, I hope and pray to spend more time here in any way. Anguilla, Anguilla, I love you because you really see us through. Anguilla is a part of me. To all Anguillians, try and make it a part of you. I saw men on the high seas pulling fish traps to feed their families. I saw women on their bended knees planting corn, potato vines, and pigeon peas. But in God we trust. Survival is a must. Anguilla, land of the braves, home of the free, let us join hands and hearts together and let it be. One hope, one love, one destiny. A vote for Panavan is a vote for honesty, integrity, and ability. She has the speed, and let her read. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Vernon. I'm very glad that he mentioned the Honorable James Ronald Webster and Social Security. Right now, we are hearing of many people who are being given honorary, member status with something with the Social Security Board. It was his idea, and some of those who are getting it, the Honorable Hubert Benjamin Hughes did not support Social Security. You need to know that. The second speaker tonight is Kashama Lewis, who has just rendered our national song so well. My people, as chair, I asked before that any introductory comments about this by the speakers, except the candidate, be brief. However, when I read Kashama's, I recognized that here is a very positive, hardworking young person, focused on what she wants, a young leader, a role model, and recalling to mind Pam's commitment to the enhancement, development, and support of young people, I decided to read in full what has been given to me by Kashama. And here it is. Kashama is 16 years old, a well-rounded honor student at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School, where she studies with the ambitious intention of joining one day the great field of architecture. She's the current president of the Travel 360 Club and the Junior Red Cross, a past treasurer of the History Club and the Environmental Club, and the former president of the Junior Optimist Club. She also takes part in the Pathfinders Club, the school choir, and the Steel Pan Orchestra. These are some of her tremendous extracurricular activities that keep her grounded as she excels in her academic studies. This young lady enjoys reading and studying the science on her hair in her spare time. She strongly believes in utter equality among everyone and lives by her favorite quote, "Everything happens for a reason." Please give a hearty round of applause in welcoming the wonderful young lady, Kashama Lewis, to the podium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kashama Lewis, and I am a proud supporter of Pam Webster. I am a supporter because she has demonstrated that she cares about District 1, and she cares and loves the people of this country. Her opponents say she is too controversial, but that is because she has a mind of her own. That she has her own opinion on things, and that she can think for herself. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam is meticulous. She will think about a situation and then make a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever people are in the world, there will be differences. There will always be a different opinion on things. What would government be without disagreements? If there were no disagreements, no opposition, we wouldn't even have need for a government. Every 5 years, when election time comes around, politics becomes a very aspect of our lives. It is important because every 5 years of this country people have the opportunity and the responsibility to determine the leadership of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I am one of those young people whose future will depend on the kind of election you elect, the kind of leadership you elect. I am asking you, no, I am begging you, the people of this country, the people of District 1, to take this election seriously. I am happy to be here this evening. When the political season started, I got to thinking, why are there no women in government? I learned in school about Idalia Gomes and teacher Albina Lake Hodge, but that was many years before I was born. Since then, no woman has been elected to political office. This is a poor reflection on the women of this country. Why are women and young people always on the outside looking in? Why are women allowing themselves to be marginalized? Our women are at the forefront of every area in Anguillian life. Women are mothers, educators, head of households, business leaders, you name it and they run it. So why not in government? Teacher Aurelia Kelly tried to bring a different perspective to the table, but she was rejected. A brilliant lady, Joyce Kentish, tried to change the direction in which the country was going, and she was not given the chance. Most recently, Cora Hodge, another woman, was not successful. Christy Harrigan, another very intelligent young lady, is trying in West End. I wish someone would do some research into why we are not electing our brilliant women into government. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know too much about the women whose names I previously mentioned. But I know one woman who is more than capable, probably more capable than some of the men in election today. I want to appeal to all of you within the sound of my voice. I want you to give the women a chance. Give Pam Webster a chance. And in a short time, you will see the difference in this country. Pam believes in fairness. She believes that everyone should have the opportunity to succeed. A question I would like to ask, ladies and gentlemen. Why are our local shops closing their doors? Is it that they are not given a chance to succeed? Pam Webster will see to it that our local businesses are treated fairly. She will see to it that the playing field is level for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, no longer can we afford to treat our election like a boat race. If our boat lost a race on August Monday, we can just pull her up on the bay, call Aris, and he will fix the stem, fix the stern, fix the keel. He will fix whatever is wrong overnight, and our boat will be ready for the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, not so with elections. We have to live with our decision for 5 whole years. Elections are far more important than a boat race. Elections are about leadership, far more, not a popularity contest. Our leaders have done the young people of this country a disservice. They have traditionally kept young people out of the political process, saying that we are too young or lack experience. If we were not involved, how can we get experience? am confident when I say that there are young people today more knowledgeable and more advanced in thinking than many of our leaders. Then why don't young people involve themselves in the political process? Ladies and gentlemen, it is for the reason I mentioned above. And I believe it is even more. The older politicians are afraid of the power of the young people. Young people have the power to change in our bones. Sadly, many young people in this country are still searching for their first job, believe it or not. Young people are hardly thought of in even the good times. And when things are bad, as they are today, the young people and the elderly, as we see it now, are last place, at the bottom of the consideration list. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to say that young people have always been at the top of Pam Webster's agenda. She has always been working to help young people whenever and wherever she can, educating, admonishing, and empowering young people. Pam Webster is a doer. She's about accomplishing things, not just pontification and showing off. That kind of behavior is for little people. Pam believes Anguilla should have good daycare centers and first-class public schools. Most mothers today have to go to work, and they need to know that their children are in a safe, wholesome environment. Pam believes that working people should be paid decent wages and that they are comfortable when they retire. Pam also believes that the contract that Social Security has with the people of Anguilla should not be broken. As Pam tells us, she says, and I quote, "Although things in Anguilla are bad now, with commitment and unselfish leadership, Anguilla will prosper again. Anguilla's best days are still ahead." End of quote. Let us support a strong woman, a woman of compassion, a woman of integrity, a woman who will work tirelessly for District 1 and for Anguilla. One on election day, vote Pam Webster the fish. I thank you.
Very, very good. The young people. They have a voice, a very strong voice, and we need to really include them and encourage them. I said I had to read all she wrote for her, that she said about herself. Thank you very much, Kashama. Please give her another round of applause. I'm not going to comment on anything she said because she was so clear and distinct that I think you got the message. Our third speaker is Aris Smith, another well-known resident of District 1. He's a carpenter by profession and has established his own business. He's a boat builder, owner, and racing boat captain. He's also a musician, and I think he can tell me the name of his band, Vito Band, which he says means life. He was a cricketer who represented Anguilla. Please welcome him with a round of applause as he comes to the podium.
You shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticizing how
Thank you, Mary. Good evening, Anguillians, relatives, and friends. Good evening to the people of District 1. It is also a pleasure for me to stand here with pride in support of a lady who I too have known all my life. A lady who I see every day doing and working to improve the lives in District 1. I am speaking, you guessed it, Pam Webster. Friends, election time is when we are attacked and bombarded by big party politicians who every season try to hand wink us into supporting their party machines. When they tell you to vote for their party, ladies and gentlemen, they are actually inviting you not to think. Ladies and gentlemen, they are inviting you not to think. They don't want you to think. They want you to call them out individually. They don't want you to scrutinize each candidate and make a valued judgment about each candidate and his or her record. I am tired of getting the same old silly questions. Who will Pam join with if she and when she is elected? And my answer is always the same. None of us has an idea who will win in this election. If we did, there will be no election. Besides, if she is elected, the question could very well be, who will join her? My friends, democracy is in action here. Praise the Lord. You and only you will decide who you want to represent you. We all want the best for District 1 and for this country. And I am confident that the people of Anguilla will elect the best candidates for this island. Don't be fooled by the catchphrases like, doctor is in the house. Many of us know that a doctor is as good as his medicine he prescribes. Many times the doctor in the house may be very good at doctoring and pretty poor at just about everything else. Sometimes the medicine from a good doctor works, and sometimes it doesn't. If the medicine works, great. If it doesn't, he will have to prescribe something else. And if it doesn't work, you probably will have to catch a plane, buy a boat, fly to St. Martin or Puerto Rico. We need medical doctors, and God bless them. But we don't necessarily need medical doctors to fix what is ailing this country. We need the kind of selfless leaders who are willing to work 24/7 to get this country going again. And Pam Webster has demonstrated that she is that kind of a leader. We need a person with international experience and outreach. Someone who will sit with the investors and wrangle the best deals for the people of this country. Not the people who sit at the table and nod agreement to things they don't even understand. Then when the dust clears, oh Lord, they sign away everything to the investor. With Pam at the table, and William's interests will be protected. The investor comes armed with more skillful legal minds. Therefore, we also must be prepared at least to match them with ours. Pam Webster has demonstrated her ability, and when it comes to money and contracts, the present government has failed and failed miserably to protect the country's interests. They have failed Anguilla and in District 1. We really wasn't expecting anything from this government. Remember, District 1 is the birthplace of the revolution. And if you didn't support the revolution, how can you love the birthplace of the revolution? Look, my friends, look at the Welch's Polyclinic, a building of class approved and built by my uncle Kenneth Romeo Harrigan, equipped, I must say this, equipped with a dental clinic, pharmacy, etc. And it's a shame what has happened there. The present government is so inept, so totally out of it, that something as simple as running a clinic cannot function. Now they are running Dr. Webster, trying to fool us again. Look at the special assistant, you know he is, for this district. I doubt if he even has an idea of the hard work my uncle Kenneth Harrigan, my brother Bennett Smith, Cedric Webster, Landman Richardson, and a few others have put into that ramp, which is to the right of this field here that my uncle Kenneth has done for us. Not forgetting, when we could not pay for that, Mr. Carl T., who has signed his life to Irvin Phillips for the concrete for over $10,000 or $11,000, and up to this date still owing for that part of it. Mr. Special Assistant, you use the ramp every week and behave as if it is okay to run over people. But I bet you know where every scrap of government land is and which supporter is earmarked to get where. We don't have a voice in District 1, ladies and gentlemen. That is why we need Pam Webster in the House of Representatives to look out for us. Pam is a doer. She is a walker. Pam will get things done. This election is about we, the people of Anguilla, asserting ourselves and getting involved. So get involved, people. It is about each one of us taking responsibility for ourselves and the future of this country. It is about fighting for what we want for this country. Have you talked to your candidate about what you want for your country? What you want for this country? Have you asked your candidate what he or she will do to move this country forward? Those are the questions you need to ask your candidates before voting. This election is about the kind of people we are and the kind of progressive country we want. So let us get involved. This election is about electing people who will place country above self. And Pam has demonstrated this time and time again. By the deeds, you will know them. This election is about those who will work together in the difficult task of rebuilding this country into a new Anguilla. A new Anguilla now. A new Anguilla without greed, corruption, and selfishness. Let us build this new Anguilla now on a foundation of high moral values, integrity, and rule of law. I must say that, a rule of law. Our people deserve this. The success of this country will depend on people like Pam Webster. So I'm begging you people, on election day, vote smart, vote early, and vote for Pam Webster, the fish. God bless you, and God bless Anguilla. Thank you.
Thank you, Horace. You're quite right. We don't expect the AUM government to do anything good for us in District 1 and our Eastern and the whole. They don't like us. Why? Because this was the birthplace of the revolution. No matter how he tries or what he tries to say, it's not genuine. If he can carry out his idol, I must use that word, Robert Bratcher's wishes to turn Anguilla into a desert, he will do it. And you know what? They're doing it. Slowly they're doing it. They don't have any respect for us. You know, in the newspaper and on the news I heard of the project at Jungso, Savannah Bay and Sile Bay. While we want development, yes. There's one thing I'm going to comment on. We are always told to respect a person's religion and their religious beliefs. Do you think that when Sam was signing that document there, that they were considering his religious beliefs? I don't think so. It was not how long ago it was when we all stood around here praying for his safe return. I stood on the ball field down there listening to him. And what he said was really touching. I thought he was going to be a minister of religion. So you see, if they can divide our families and insult our families and get them to do something, they would. For example, look at the waste to energy. I mean, they were not considering the people when they agreed to that. Now the investor is challenging it. What are you going to do? Yeah? Anguilla's in trouble. But their intention is to carry out Bratcher's wishes to turn Anguilla into a desert. But we are not going to let them do it. The fourth speaker tonight is Paul Harrigan, another well-known resident of District 1. I met Paul a few years ago on the mayor's show. When I heard him speak, the passion and concern in his voice for Anguilla, where we were, and his ideas of what could be done to move the island forward, I sat there spellbound. I had to learn more about this young man, but I have to be brief tonight, so I can't say too much about it. Paul is a businessman in Anguilla and St. Thomas, and in him I see a future leader. Whether he chooses Anguilla, St. Thomas, or elsewhere, he will do well and make us all proud. I don't have to say that he comes from a family of people who have made us all proud over the years. Please welcome him with a round of applause as he comes to the podium.
You shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticizing how
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, my name is Paul Harrigan. I stand here tonight before you as a proud supporter of Pam Webster, a lady who was born and currently lives not too far away from there. I want to reminisce a bit about the past with you. I remember the days sailing to and from St. Thomas on family-owned cargo boats in order to spend time in Anguilla during summer and Christmas vacations, as well as other occasions to spend time with family and friends. I remember the camaraderie that was displayed on those boats as the men lived and worked away from home. I remember waking up and running down to Tandididi, Miss Osborne for some house to help move her sheep with my cousins. I remember the days I used to come up on the bay and swim in front of Smitty's bar with family and friends, eat chicken legs, and watch men and boys play draft. I remember Cardi walking past Tandy People's house with a pawn boat to participate in a fun day on the bay. I remember days when movies were shown up at Davis Lloyd's shop at night. I remember a day when Ross took me in the ground and dug up a potato, wiped it off, and we ate it together. I remember the days when we were the envy of the boat racing community. No pun intended to the West, because all had our times to shine. I remember the days when we used to roam these bush paths with family and friends, walk down to Shoal Bay to pick sea grapes, follow our cousins to the sea rocks and watch them spear fish. And when Mick and I got bored, we walked on the rocks all the way to Shoal Bay. I remember picking, eating, pounding and almonds under the almond tree. I remember helping family members break rocks under a tree to produce gravel for their personal house, and pounding my fingers in the process. I remember plowing the grounds, ripping and roasting corn, grinding the corn and eating the ground corn. And you know what happened the next day? I remember going to pull pots with the knock on the splash, witness cleave or shanky fishing for snapper by line, whipping the snappers out of the sea on the rocks, then stopping and scrub, starting a fire and roasting the fish as is, using the seawater for seasoning and enjoying that fish. I have very fond and beautiful memories of Anguilla. I remember these days because they were innocent days of my youth, the days that I have molded me into a man that I am today. I reminisce because those days bring back joy to my heart. It brings back memories that would make this grown man cry. The love, the unity, the camaraderie, the peace, the appreciation of life, and for one another, which perfectly describes our tranquility wrapped in blue. I am sure many of you share similar memories. Don't get me wrong, we have experienced our bad days too, but we have to experience the good and the bad. Anguillans are a set of beautiful people. Anywhere we go in the world, we are well liked and spoken highly of. There is so much love in this crowd right now. Look around you. Look at the person to your right and or your left, and I bet you find a family member. We are all one family. We are all one people. We are all one love. We are loving people. Anywhere you go, people praise Anguillans for their beautiful personality, honesty, and ambitious work ethics. This is something we should hold our heads up high about and walk with pride. We need to come together like we did in the olden days during jollification and participate in the development of our youth. I want to quote something Bill Cosby said a couple of years ago when Reverend Jackson invited Cosby to the annual Rainbow Push conference for a conversation about controversial remarks the entertainer offered at the NAACP dinner in Washington, D.C. This was Cosby's plea to parents. Before you get to the point where you say, I can't do nothing with them, do something with them. Teach our children to speak English. There's no such thing as talking white. When the teacher calls, show up at the school. When the idiot box starts spewing profane rap videos, turn it off. Refrain from cussing around the kids. Teach our boys that women should be cherished, not raped and demeaned. Tell them that education is a prize we won with blood and tears, not a dishonor. Stop making excuses for the agents and abettors of black and black crime. It costs us nothing to do these things, but if we don't, it will cost us infinitely more tears. I end quote. Imagine we have ministers in government that we elect to serve the majority, and they serve the minority for their own self-interest. Anguillians stood up for the Indians about 10 to 12 years ago and marched alongside these foreigners from West End to the Valley and demonstrated with them for the equal rights and pay, while under the assumption that colonialism was raising its ugly head in Anguilla again. However, they were contracted workers. Next notion was that these big hotel developers were undercutting the local labor force with cheap labor from abroad. I'm appalled at those situations, but ironically, we allow the Chinese to conduct the same situation on a smaller scale right here in Anguilla. This kind of behavior will eventually eat away at the core of Anguilla's self-determination and destroy our future. The playing field is not equal. When the wage rate they pay their nationals is not equal to the local standards, some of them are contractual workers, indentured servants, that work at a contractual rate lower than the minimum wage. They are awarded labor permits to work, but why the entire family works the establishment? Doesn't immigration and labor laws restrict wives and children from working in Anguilla if they are not residents? With proper immigration enforcement, more locals will be hired. Many Caribbean nationals have to wait 15 years to get longer status. What is going on in this country? What is happening with our immigration laws? Ladies and gentlemen, such complacency in government will not exist when Pam Webster is elected into office. We need to follow our Caribbean neighbors, the Barbadians, and demand that more locals be employed by these foreign entities. We must see to it that those persons in charge of these vital areas, such as work permits and immigration, do their job. We have to be very careful. We may not know who all our enemies are. We must have checks and balances in all these areas. Look at the Ebola crisis throughout the world today. Anguillians are hard-working people, but somewhere along the line, some of us have become complacent and have settled. Anguillians travel abroad to make a living and send money back home to their families. So are the migrants that come here to make a living. Just as the work ethics of Anguillians was at a higher standard in foreign countries such as Santo Domingo, Curacao, the US Virgin Islands, and the US, to name a few, the work ethics of the migrants are more aggressive in Anguilla than some locals. I must say things have changed in us as a people. It is like we have taken a back seat in everything and to everyone. Maybe we are afraid to voice our opinion, afraid of being victimized by government. However, many of us were not afraid to voice our opinion when the previous government was in power. Currently, our country is being overrun by children with guns, corruption, and nepotism. And we do nothing and say nothing. What bothers me the most is that many Anguillians are starving, can't buy food, can't pay their bills. And government officials are bickering in the House of Assembly about issues that can't solve our current problems. Using the House to slander local Anguillians and make derogatory comments about our women and about certain constituencies. What a circus. Only in Anguilla this can happen. I am not sure where we have gone wrong, but we need to take a page from the Tatolan citizens and leaders who have pushed education and set laws and policies that protect the local citizens. I must interject that some of these Tatola natives that built Tatola and the BVI are migrants from Anguilla. Some of the families that migrated to Tatola from Anguilla are Smiths, Harrigans, Bryans, Richardsons, Foys, and others. So where did we go wrong? Our politicians have let Anguilla become overrun by nationals without proper policies that will ensure the locals are protected. Ironically, this is what Anguillans have allowed. I have no problem with integration, but it has to be in the favor of local Anguillians. And I repeat, I have no problem with integration, but it has to be in the favor of local Anguillians. If, and only if, our country is to fail as a, if our destiny is to fail as a country, firstly, we need to ensure our youth are educated so we will have a fighting chance and go down swinging. Our candidate, Pam Webster, has assured me that when she's elected, she will see to it that Anguilla and Anguillians come first. I dare any of you to venture into China, Mexico, Guatemala, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Japan, India, etc., and try to set up a business to compete with the locals. Nothing is impossible in this global economy, but it will not be accepted wholeheartedly by the nationals of those countries as easy as Anguillians or the other Caribbean nationals. These people have loyalty to their mother country that is incomparable, and it is something that we Anguillians must relearn and demonstrate again. When you only have 35 square miles of land, the concept about free enterprise is for the birds. We need strong representation that will protect us in all these vital areas, and Pam Webster is a representative we need to do it. We need to invest our time and efforts in an industry that fed our people when the British left us to fend for ourselves while we were a part of St. Kitts and Nevis. Island Harbour is a small fishing village compared to Kodiak Island, Alaska, Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, Stonington, Des Isles, Maine, Rotan, Honduras. But we can transform it into a thriving fishing village like those mentioned above. Pam Webster's plan can do just that. What we also need to invest in is finishing the boardwalk that was started by O'Kenneth. Look at the night and day life that has transpired from the development on Silly Key, Falcon's Nest, Everett's Bar in the Bay, and On the Rocks, the bar and restaurant. All of them are locally owned. Now we have Mick and family that just built a mini golf course. All these adventures open up Island Harbour as a prime destination for tourists. However, we can't stop there. With our two natural resources, the Barrier Reef and the 200 nautical miles of water, we can transform Island Harbour and Anguilla. However, there is much more that can be done. Scuba diving tours, sport fishing trips, local sailboat excursions, and most important, a fish processing plant. In the past, didn't a Japanese trawler run aground just north of Scrub? Other countries are finding the means to exploit our resources. We need to utilize police and secure them for now and the future. A fish processing plant will provide jobs, will sustain fishermen year-round. It will create an export product that can start to equalize our trade deficit and increase our GDP. With an export product, Anguilla would start to see a reduction in inbound shipping rates. Export trade will fill empty containers that leave Anguilla and help to produce revenues for the shipping agencies rather than returning back to the mainland with empty containers. Just as we need to educate our youth, we need to provide educational classes to all local fishermen to make them conscious of new technology and fishing practices that will ensure the longevity of our fishing industry for now and the future. We can't wait until things get so bad that outside forces has to come in and restrict us from fishing and being able to feed our families. Henceforth, making us less self-reliant and less self-sufficient, but making our country more dependent on imported commodities. This is all part of the plan that Pam Webster will work to implement, and she can do it. Pam has started many programs that will empower the youth of this community in order for them to be ready and prepared for all levels of their future education. This will enable them to further their education and not just settle for low-paying jobs at the resorts, but once educated, apply and demand the managerial positions. For years, the people have been miseducated into believing that democracy is just a matter of casting ballots every 5 years, and that government should be left on their own until the 5 years are up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen it all too often. We elect persons based on relationship and not on ability. The result is poor government. We need to move to a higher level of political development. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Webster has the ability, Pam Webster has the commitment to represent the people of this country and all levels. Remember District 1 voters. When you go to the polls, vote for Pam Webster, the fish. God bless you all, and God bless Angola.
You shout it out, but I can't hear a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much.
I told you he would be a future leader. Yes, he is quite right. Anguillians are well loved, and we build up whatever country we go into. So, we have to prove to ourselves, and I must repeat that, to ourselves, because somehow we seem to have lost that we can build up Anguilla, an Anguilla that we all will be proud of. Our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, we will leave behind a legacy for them. He spoke about, the gangs. It's kind of disappointing for me to have heard that our current representative has been saying in another part of District 1 that the people in Island Harbour are not going to vote for him because he's black. Why would you say something like that? You have to uplift our people. Don't try to divide us. Don't use the race card. Mr. Hughes does it, and he says, oh, that's nothing. I'm not a racist. But you shouldn't do it unless he's an AUM. I don't know. Maybe he's AUM too. And so he's carrying out, doing what they do and what they see. Anyway, Paul, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming up close to that time. And since I'm the next person to introduce the candidate and say a few words, I can't say anything about myself. But what I want you to do, to look beyond this tent out in the water, and you'll see our campaign boat with a picture of a very beautiful lady with a fish. Vote for the fish. If you haven't seen it before, just look now and you will see it. And I want to thank, I may get in trouble for calling names, but I think I better say all of those who have been instrumental in getting that boat and that getting that boat and that billboard with Pamela's photograph and the symbol, vote for the fish. in the water. Thank you very much, guys. They're all members of the committee to vote Pam Webster. Tonight, as chairperson, it is an honor for me to introduce our candidate, Pam Webster, or as she is affectionately called, Pam. Pam was born in the village of Island Harbour and is truly a proud daughter of the soil. And as far and as high as she has reached, she has always remained true to her roots and committed to her community. I know you all are kind of looking at the boat, but could you tone down a bit? Because everything is coming through back to me through the mics. Her interest and desire for an increased commitment to the future and a new approach to embracing the benefits of community development, human advancement, and well-being of the people of her district, and Anguilla as a whole, is more than lip service, more than talk. It is phenomenal. She does not just talk the talk, but through her commitment and action, has demonstrated that she's walking the talk, or as is usually said, walk the walk. Just a quick look at some of the things Pam has been doing for her community and her country, some long before she even dreamt of being in politics. And I'm going to just give you some of them. She has donated to schools from pre to secondary. And there's a long list of her contributions to the primary school at Island Harbour, Vivian Vanderpool Primary Schools. She's contributed to other establishments, sponsored events all over Anguilla, including the Elliott Webster boat race, the first prize for the August Tuesday boat race, and is the platinum sponsor for the Solaire Cup race. She has sponsored many children and provided uniforms and books. She has established 2 community care centers, pays the salaries of the staff of the centers, and all other expenditure. It is interesting to note that the Honorable Jerome Roberts, in his remarks at the opening of the center at the Pond Ground, quoted significant amounts of monies budgeted for the Hope Center at Sandy Hill and the center at Blowing Point, and acknowledged that, thanks to Pam, no money was budgeted for the centers in District 1. That is the one at Island Harbour and the one at Pond Ground. At the opening of the Pond Ground Center, it was touching to hear the comments of residents as they thanked Pam for putting in place a center to help not only the children but the entire community, and for remembering and honoring residents of the community. The persons honored were Mrs. Daisy Richardson, Teacher Daisy. I know she taught many of you who are here tonight. For her invaluable contribution to education. Mrs. Susan Harrigan and Nurse Harrigan, for outstanding commitment and dedication to the women and children. Mrs. Claudette Bryan, for outstanding dedication to the youth and community. Mr. Evans Harrigan, who served as a member of the Anguilla Council from 1972 to 1976 and is an outstanding member of the community. Now the centers, they do quite a number of things, but I'm going to just touch on one or so. The centers partner with the Job Linker program, and over 15 youths recommended yearly. Many have been successfully placed and fully employed. The most recent success is the employment of 3 young men and 2 young ladies, some now enrolled at the community center. Now 2 of these young men work in the fire department, but at first there were not sufficient funds to pay their salary. And who do you think stepped up to the plate? For them not to lose their jobs, Pam paid the difference for several months until funds were available to pay them. Pam pays 2 persons to clean the Island Harbour beach. It is looking good and is coming to be a place where you can relax mix and mingle. And it makes me remember when I was young, because I used to come up here too. Pam is already called upon to be a part of government's development plans. She contributed significantly to the Sustainable Tourism Master Plan 2010 to 2020, and especially the development of the East End sector. She was and still is instrumental in the development of the financial services as a viable industry, and it now contributes significantly to our gross domestic product. Just recently, she was called to be a part of planning by the Ministry of Finance for 2015. I don't know if that's the Strategic Medium-Term Plan. Yes. She is chairperson of the Mental Health Review Panel. She counsels and mentors a number of young persons. She's a part of the team for the Entrepreneurship Development Program. In short, Pam has been and is involved in the development process of Anguilla and the people of Anguilla, and she is not an elected representative. Imagine what she will do when elected. Ladies and gentlemen and radio audience, I have to stop here. There's too much to say about what Pam has been doing throughout Anguilla to encourage, to help, and to develop all people and all island home. So I call to the podium Pam Webster, the independent candidate vying for political office, to represent the electoral district of Island Harbour, District 1, under the symbol of the fish in the upcoming general elections in Anguilla. And with your help and God's help, we know she will be the candidate, the elected candidate. Please let us welcome her with a round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Anguillians, especially the people of District 1 and Island Harbour, the birthplace of the Anguilla Revolution. And to our people listening by radio, what an October it has been. We started in St. Martin, with our families, our friends in St. Martin, the beloved people of Anguilla, and what a reception you gave us. Thank you so much. And yes, we were there when Hurricane Gonzalo appeared and we were stranded from our families at home here in Anguilla, but our thoughts were with you. But I assure you that all the families in St. Martin, equally their thoughts were with you. And thank God, we praise God that He spared us, He spared our lives, He kept our families safe in line with our prayers, and we're here to move forward yet again in building an Anguilla. So our family and friends in St. Martin, God bless you. Thank you again for your hospitality and kindness. And yes, to our family and friends in St. Thomas, last weekend we were with you. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, I know that you will have to imagine it, but your instructions and direction to the winning campaign team was to make sure we're in the water, and tonight we're in the water. Thank you, St. Thomas. Thank you to our good people throughout. Thank you to our people in Atlanta for your good wishes, in New York for your good wishes. We are together. Here on the ground and our people abroad, we are together. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you again, my friends and family right here. Thank you for your support. I am proud to have been born and raised in District 1. Many of you are related to me, and you know that life has not always been kind to us in Anguilla, and sometimes it has been especially hard for the people of Island Harbour, the people of this blessed District 1. Yes, in this district, we have suffered hardships. Like Paul, I remember the days when there was always a shortage of everything. Clothes and shoes were novel to most of us. And I can remember the many times when there was not enough food, and sometimes there was no food at all. I remember those days well. In fact, my neck still hurts from the thousands of buckets of water that this head carried. But believe it or not, when people say, "You have good posture, Pam," I say, thank God I carried those buckets of water well. And I believe if my cousin Terry, if he would look carefully, he would still find some old Pope Hedge prickles somewhere in my heel. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I know Island Harbour. I am Island Harbour, and Island Harbour is me. This district is no stranger to hardship and struggle. It is a district of sacrifice. It is a district of sacrifice and ruthless determination. And we are a strong, proud people. Look around you. We are a strong, proud people. So yes, I am proud to be from District 1. District 1 is a district with people of vision. The dreamers, some would say. Yes, my people. And everyone knows that the road to success begins with the dream. If your mind can conceive it, your hands can achieve it. Kishama will tell you that. And when the people of District 1 put their minds to the task, they don't quit until the job is done. Check our history. It is an honor for me, my friends. It is an honor for me to stand before so many of you, so many of my people. As a young girl, like Kishama, I too had dreams. Dreams for myself, for my family, and later, big dreams for this community and for Anguilla. Big dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still haunted by those dreams. I still want for this community the things I dreamt of. And I not only want good things for this district, I want great things for District 1. With your help, we can make this happen. We can make this come true. Before coming to the podium and listening to all these excellent speakers, starting with Terry, Oris, Kishama, Paul, Mary, I was thinking I could spend a lot of time here tonight thanking them and thanking my team and my supporters for your help and the trust you have placed in me. Or I could spend some time talking about the things we've been trying to accomplish over the past several years for District 1. I could even spend time responding to the vicious attacks on me by both parties, by both my political opponents. And I thought for a moment about spending time mounting a serious counterattack of my own on them, but I won't do that. I won't do that. And I could stand here too and reel off a long list of problems that the people of this country are facing right now. Problems that have made the majority of us disdainful and cynical about anyone and anything political. Problems that have even made us suspicious of our own families and government. I could stand here and list a number of people, not only in District 1, but throughout Anguilla, who are angry about some of the things that are happening here and about all the things that should be happening but are not happening. I could dwell on the lack of adequate health care for the elderly, for our people, the high cost of electricity, the embarrassing fiasco with our 2 local banks. So many issues, so much to list. But tonight, I won't do that either. I won't do it tonight. This evening, I want to try and awaken the spirit of revolutionary commitment in our minds. That's what I'm doing this evening. I want to awaken the spirit of revolutionary commitment in our minds. Ladies and gentlemen, ours is a campaign that is focused on solving problems, solving them, not just talking about them. So please don't expect me to stand here and engage in political rhetoric against my opponents in this campaign. We do not have time for that. We don't have time for that. We do not have time for that. Rather, I will invite you to join our winning campaign. Join our vision for District 1 and for Anguilla as a whole. And ladies and gentlemen, when I am elected, you have my solemn promise that I will work tirelessly alongside you, alongside those people who are willing to put country above self. You have my promise. I will work alongside dedicated Anguillians who will put the interests of the people, of our people first and above the dictates of their parties. Dedicated people. And I will do this in order to put this, our beloved Anguilla, back on the road to prosperity. Can we do this? I will work with the people who are prepared to build national consensus and forge a plan for the future development of the country. I will roll up my sleeves and we will work. I will contribute to a plan that every succeeding government can follow as a guideline for the future. A national plan that every government will be committed to building upon and not tear down with each succeeding government to fit narrow party agendas. And Uncle Kenneth, you tell me that will be difficult, but we know nothing good comes easy. Nothing. We have seen that in almost every country in the Caribbean, when the people want to find solutions to their country's problems, they just change one party for the next. You see it in St. Kitts, it's like changing their underwear, and nothing really changes. Nothing happens to change and enhance the lives of our people. All I care about the lives of our people. We must make them memorable and worthwhile. Yes, I will be willing to work with individuals who believe in equal opportunity for all, with special privileges to none. Our winning campaign believes that every Anguillian should have an equal opportunity to succeed in this country. When I say every Anguillian, wherever you are, in St. Martin and St. Thomas, equal opportunity to succeed in this land that our mothers allowed for us, our mothers and fathers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, the right to succeed here. Yes, our winning campaign believes that that is what we need, and that is what Ronald Webster and the late Uncle Harrigan, Uncle Aunt, that's what they fought for. Wilkin Harrigan. Yes, it is true. That is, yes, Wilkin, it is like what people like Albert Rubin and Oliver Gums, Collins Hodge, Lemuel Phillip, Wilkin Smith, Mitchell, Cornell, Toddville, they all risked their lives. They gave up their freedom for that. Honor them. Tell them that you value them. They're right here, some of them standing. Give them a round of applause and tell them you value that. And these good people, they didn't make such sacrifices so that we could be oppressed today by our own people. You know, Anguillians, we are very forgiving people. We forgave the present Chief Minister for publicly praising Anguilla's main oppressor on the park on Anguilla Day a few years ago. And when he glorified his mentor, Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, in the presence of none other than the Honorable James Ronald Webster and some of our revolutionists, and on Anguilla Day of all days. Can you imagine that in the spirit of the revolution which started here in this district, that was a criminal offense. A criminal offense. A heinous act against the people of Anguilla, against the memory and sacrifice of our heroes. Mr. Chief Minister, lover of Mr. Bradshaw, and hater of our District 1 heroes, you should thank this generation for being so forgiving. And yes, we walk our talk. We are about unity. We are about building up, not about breaking down. We are about lifting up each other, not tearing each other down. You could learn a lot from the people of District 1. My brothers and sisters, I can't help but get upset when I see the vision, the ideals that our revolutionary warriors fought for been trampled on today by Bradshaw followers, no less. Let us think for a moment. Why has Island Harbour, the birthplace of the revolution, got so little attention from every government over the last 30 years? Bob Marley said, "He who feels it knows it." Tell me, do you think it is an oversight? Or do you think it's deliberate? Deliberate. Well, I can say that whatever the reason, and we do not care what Mr. Bradshaw's followers say about us in District 1, let it be known that we, the proud people of District 1, we don't sit and wait for handouts or for some miracle to happen. We get together, we roll up our sleeves, and we do what we have to do for ourselves. We've done it before, we will do it again. Yes. Can we do this? Let them know we can do this. We can do this. The present elected representative of this district, he said that the reason he did nothing in the last 4.5 years is because he is in opposition, and that opposition in the House has no power. I heard him to that effect myself today on the mayor's show. Mr. Representative, let me enlighten you. We do not operate under a dictatorship. We are a democracy, and the elected opposition has the right to participate fully in the affairs of this country. When something is going wrong in government, we expect government. We expect our representative to come and talk to the people. And when there is a lack of transparency in government, for whatever reason, we expect the opposition to play their part in protecting the democratic process. Our representative has to report to the people and fight for answers and solutions. That is what representation is about. After all, the opposition is, as it were, the government in waiting and the mouthpiece of the people. It is the opposition's job to let the people know, unless the opposition is in agreement with whatever wrong the government is doing. Are the people in agreement then? Is our representative part of the AUM agenda then? When the legislation on the level of pension for retiring House members was being passed in the House by the previous government, the then opposition members sat with their hands folded, there's our current Chief Minister, and said nothing. And if they had joined with the Honorable Kenneth Harrigan and the Honorable Albert Hughes in trying to stop the rape of this country, Anguilla would be in better financial shape today. My friends, my people, if you think things are bad now, just think how much worse it will be if we left this country up to the callous insensitivity of the present leadership for another 5 years. 20 years ago, In fact, 25 years ago, more than 25, when I opened my private practice in law, we had prosperity within our grasp. And it has been slipping away ever since. Today, prosperity is a faded dream for many people. I am determined to revive prosperity in Anguilla, opportunity and prosperity for our people. Make no bones about it, this election will be the yardstick that will measure the performance record of the leaders of this country for the past 5 years. On election day, the people of Anguilla will demand to see each report card. We will not allow you to hide behind a party banner. Each man and woman will have to stand on their own credentials. And ladies and gentlemen, this election will determine the kind of future we want, really want, for ourselves and our children. And you say it yourself, we cannot expect government to do everything, but we do expect government to be fair and transparent. We expect government to work to the benefit of all, not the selfish me and mine first governance we have witnessed recently. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this island, our beloved country, is in trouble. You know what the problems are. You live with them. You feel the pain every day. He who feels it knows it. We have a lot of work to do. We need constitutional reform. We need electoral reform. We've been talking about it for over 20 years, and nothing has happened. And you know what? Nothing will happen unless we demand it. We need to define who is Anguillian once and for all. We have children of Anguillian parents and grandparents who have been trying to get an Anguilla passport for years, while people with no connection to Anguilla, none at all, are getting passports and belongership. Is that fair? This has got to stop. And to our people in St. Martin and St. Thomas, you've raised it at every meeting. I make this promise this evening, this has got to stop. I will change that. We will change that. This country is in crisis. It is time to use our ingenuity to create jobs for ourselves. We cannot afford to sit around hoping for some miracle to happen. We must do what we can for ourselves. And in the meantime, we must elect leaders with knowledge and with ability to negotiate development contracts that will benefit the people of Anguilla, not just the developer and a well-placed few. That is not right. And Pam Webster will not subscribe to any such shenanigans. People of Anguilla, especially District 1, we have to pay serious attention to our fishing industry. I remember when Island Harbour Bay was a daily hub of business activity. Paul, you probably remember the same thing. We exported fish, lobster, conch, and whelks every week to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. We did that by plane, no less, and by boat to St. Martin. Fishing, in case you've forgotten, was our main support before tourism came. And now our older fishermen are passing on. They did their part, God bless them. But it is time to bring our fishing industry into the 21st century. Our young people can do this. It's about technology, it's about opportunity, and we ready. We can do this. With local knowledge, a little creativity, proper planning, we can modernize this industry ourselves, creating new sustainable jobs. Yes, we can do this. We expend less energy and resources when we pick the low-hanging fruit. It's right here, it's in our DNA. We can do it, we can do this. We will transform Island Harbour once again through fishing. We have a tourism model, tranquility wrapped in blue, which is the envy of many countries in the region. Let us build on that. Our own people can build and develop upscale tourism facilities. Give us the chance. We can enhance our tourism product by making Anguilla a crime-free destination. We can if we have the political will to do it. Low-hanging fruit, we got to. We can do it. With your help, I promise to work to reclaim our Anguilla haven. You listen to the national song, Haven. We can do this. We can make Anguilla the cleanest tourist destination on the planet. We can do this together. Our Anguilla boat builders, they're second to none. Absolutely second to none. And this is on a global stage. We're the best. We only need to find the markets to sell what we build abroad. And with a little research and a little help in the legislature, and I tell you, I'm really good at that, we can compete with the best. This will help create jobs, sustainable jobs. We're already producing world-class furniture and interiors. Ask Oris about that. We can design, build, and supply all the furniture needs of our homes and hotels. Low-hanging fruit. With a little legislative help, and I'm good at that, we can create jobs. Sustainable jobs. We can do this. Why can't our governments give local companies, our people, the same incentives and concessions that they give to the foreign developers? It doesn't take rocket science to figure out that such a policy would reap bountiful benefits for the people of this country. Give us the same incentives, the same concessions, and watch Anguilla grow. We can do this. The foreign developer doesn't come here because he loves us. He comes because he sees an opportunity to make profit. Nothing's wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. Our homegrown profits, though, will stay here. We need that. Is this a good idea? Then ask yourselves, why hasn't it happened? All these years, nearly 30 years, with a vibrant tourism product, why hasn't it happened? And I'll tell you why. Number one, we haven't organized ourselves and demanded it from our governments. That's the first thing. We have to share the responsibility. We allow government to dole out concessions as special favors. Local concessions should be a rule. Do you agree with that? Local concessions are rule. The second reason they won't give us the same concessions is because there will be less of an opportunity for backroom deals, for secret deals, for under-the-table deals. That's one of the reasons they won't give us the same concessions. We must change that. Local concessions. Our people deserve it. And number 3, as a retired lawmaker said openly once, you can't give them that, they're going to get rich. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the mentality that has been holding back Anguilla for years, for decades. We must never again elect people with such selfish, country-killing mentalities. Their philosophy is keep them hungry and they will bite at anything, even empty promises. Promises of turning straw into gold. Can you imagine it? Friends, if we had markets for our fish and our lobsters, we would see more young people taken to the sea, working for themselves, and the treasury will benefit too. We can build a proper facility to smoke our swordfish, our wahoo and tuna for export. Those are high-earning, high-value products that are sought after everywhere, and we've got the best fish. I can't understand what mentality decides to tax poor people who don't even have jobs and in a dead economy. This is madness. It is so easy to diversify and build our economy. But first they must want it, and they must want not to choke us to death. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters of District 1, you know, some of us have gone a little soft in this country. The way things are today, we cannot just hope to turn this country around. If we truly want to see change, then we must be willing to stand up and fight for it. That is what our revolutionary heroes did. That is what they did. They were prepared to fight for change. Do you think the elected members of the House will voluntarily roll back their salaries and pensions? No. They will tax us even more to pay them, but to pay their salaries. That's what they're going to do. You and me. They will tax us more. They won't roll them back. Do you think they will remove the stabilization levy? No. If we need it to happen, then we have to be willing to stand up and demand it. We need to be ready to do it. When I'm elected, I will work hard to remove that levy. It is criminal, in my view. Responsible government doesn't just pass laws because they have the voters to do it. Where is the compassion? People are suffering. Our young people must be given an opportunity for a decent life. The taxes and levies by this government are repressive and regressive, and they're even talking about VAT, and that is linked to increased poverty and crime anywhere in the world you research it. Can you imagine? They are business killers, this administration. We need qualified people who will put this country back on the road to prosperity. We have a responsibility to pave the way for the next generation, to provide opportunity for Kashama and children younger than Kashama. We have a responsibility. The ones yet to come, we have a responsibility for. We have to do this, just as others pave the way for us. We must work to change the priorities of this country. We must protect our children, care for the elderly, because we are all on the same journey. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be sidetracked by the political spin doctors who are trying to fool you, taking statements out of context to confuse you. It shows their own lack of intelligence. It shows their own stupidity. The truth is, drowning rats grasp at straws. Ask a fisherman if they know what that means. Drowning rats grasp at straws. And just like the other values that you see openly displayed, love, respect, including respect for the father of the nation, that attends everywhere we go. But they would like to create disharmony. They will go to all lengths, grasping at straws, to create disharmony and to confuse people. We are not to be fooled. We're smart, too smart for that. Tell them. And yes, reactionary government will always fail. Reactionary government has no vision. Therefore, there is no plan. We knew months ago that Liat was suspending direct flights from St. Thomas to Anguilla, but not a word was heard from government on the subject. Now, all of a sudden, they're calling the names of the local airlines: Anguilla Air Express, Rainbow, Anguilla Air Services, and Trans Anguilla. Those local airlines were here all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let us look around and put our heads together. There are resources in this country that we can build on. Resources that are the low-hanging fruit I talk about. Things we can do for ourselves. I shall not be reactive when you elect me, ladies and gentlemen. I shall be proactive. Every elected member of the House of Assembly, whether a member of the governing party or not, has the right to introduce any proposed legislation or propose any motion for debate in the Assembly. And there's an absolute requirement in the Constitution that it be debated and dealt with according to the rules of procedure. Ask Uncle Kenneth. So I shall be there. I shall be there bringing forward the reforms that this country needs so badly. And you know, if the elected government is not doing its job, it will have no option but to listen to me, to listen to you, to have its deficiencies brought to your attention. We are the people, and they will recognize that you will know from me that the government is not doing its job. You will always be on top of what's happening there, and when I speak, it will be your voice. You know, you've been very patient listening to me, but there's one last point I want to make before I say goodnight to you. I want to tell you this, my brothers and my sisters. You know, District 1, the political options are not that of AUF or AUM, but rather which representative can best serve the interests, needs, and desires of the people of District 1. That is really the question. And the public conversations amongst the people of our district, indeed throughout Anguilla, you hear them on the radio all the time. Who will Pam Webster join with? Either the AUF or the AUM. And both parties on their political platforms. They're addressing that. But friends, we have had AUF representation in an AUF government. And we have had AUF representation during an AUM administration. Yet regardless of who the representative is, our problems remain unresolved. We in District 1, we need compassionate leadership. And our loving and caring representative, the Honorable Kenneth Harrigan, demonstrated excellent leadership, excellent compassionate leadership during all his years. And and I want to tell you something, just in case you don't know, right here where we are standing, from his own pocket, this space he created, it made a difference in the lives of our fishermen. It allowed our tourists to think it's an orderly entrance to Scilly. It has made a difference, and he did it himself, begging for support, but never getting it out of his own pocket. When you talk about compassionate, caring leadership, that is what it looks like. And when I say that I will make sure I commit to recognizing and holding up the Honorable Kenneth Harrigan, it be an honor for me to do it. It will be a privilege for me to follow in his footsteps. It will be a privilege. I want to recognize the Honorable Kenneth Harrigan. I want to say thank you too. In District 1, we understand gratitude. We are grateful to God and we're grateful for you. Thanks so much for all you've done for this district. And all those projects, I know that you can't get to sleep worrying about, caring about your people. I assure you, your dream of a boardwalk, when I'm elected, will happen. And that basketball court, the stadium that you envisaged long before it became fashionable to talk about stadiums, I am going to commit to that. District 1 is going to show them, and it will be your aspirations. It will be a privilege for me to follow through. Yes, we in District 1 have had compassionate leadership. But now more than ever, this time, we need effective, fearless, and decisive leadership. That is what I am about. Effective, decisive leadership. I'm from District 1, born and bred here, and no one, not even Chief Minister Hughes, can deny any of our citizens a birthright, not over my dead body. We need a fearless representative. We need a leader who will lead the charge for better jobs. We need decisive leadership that will fight all and sundry for a better quality of life for our people, my people, this district, our families. And for too long, the naysayers have tried to invoke fear of exclusion. You heard about the race card. You heard about Pam is not Anguillian. I want you to know that Pam Webster will do right by all the people of District 1. From Welch's, from Sal Hill to East End, including everywhere, Pam Webster will do right by the people of District 1 and the good people of Anguilla. The right thing. Yes. Today, tonight, I pledge to provide effective leadership. And I will also implement compassionate policies following on the good leadership and mentorship of Kenneth Harrigan. I will do that to improve the lives of our poor, of our forgotten, the less fortunate, and most importantly, our families in need. I will do that in His honor. And we must acknowledge that within District 1 we have friends, we have families, we have neighbors who at different times need assistance. Is that not so? Our children must be educated. Our families need care. And the less fortunate amongst us need our help. Our political leadership, they've practiced a governance style that continues to fail our people. What do you say? They continue to fail our people. We cannot abandon our people during their times of need. We must help. We must care for all. There will always be critics who talk about caring, but practice public neglect when it matters most. Friends, I believe compassionate representation must be reflected by decisive leadership. And District 1 and our people deserve strong, decisive, compassionate leadership that can deliver a better quality of life for all. We have had enough of excuses. We need leadership that can deliver. That is what we need. We all know that we will not be fooled by shallow rhetoric or by backroom deals. The political shenanigans of fear advocated by the empty voices of insecurity offer no solutions to you, to our people. District 1 needs a representative who will hear your cries, feel your pain, someone who has stood by you. We need solution-oriented leadership, not wilderness voices of shallow, meaningless rhetoric. Don't matter how long you've heard them. Friends, my brothers and sisters, I am committed to District 1. I am committed. I am committed to Anguilla. I am committed. On election day, please give me your vote. On election day, I humbly ask you to vote for New Anguilla now. Vote Pam Webster the fish. Thank you so much. May God bless you all. May God bless District 1 and all our people. May God bless Anguilla. Thank you very much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there you had it. You can understand now why they're all bashing Pam. And you know what? It has also extended to her supporters. But we are strong. She's a strong woman, and we are strong as well. We know what our district needs, and we are going to fight and stand up for that. Thank you very much, Pam. Yes, Mr. Harrigan, thank you very much for all you have done for us. And I have to keep saying, I can still hear you begging your own government in that House of Assembly for some more money to do the work for your people. Thank you very much. Now it is my turn to give the vote of thanks. I must first thank God for His many blessings to us and His mercies towards us daily, and especially with the passage of Hurricane Gonzalo. I have to tell you though that the hurricane season is not over as yet, so we still need to be vigilant and heed the warnings. A lot of people are saying they didn't heed the warning and suffered with quite a bit of water in their home. I would like to thank all of you who are with us at this meeting at the Bay in Island Harbour, and all who have been listening via Radio Angular and I call it Hammer Station Class FM. Thanks to the other radio stations who have been announcing the meeting. Thanks to all those who have been praying for Pam and the committee to elect Pam, and especially as we travel to meet Anguillans, St. Martin, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. Thanks to all of the persons in those islands whom we met, those who attended the meetings, those who asked questions or made comments on air or off air. The radio hosts who interviewed Pam. Thanks to Upbeat Radio 97.7, where the overseas meetings were carried live, and we have had very good comments from far away on the quality of the broadcast. Thanks to all who helped with the necessary preparations to facilitate the meetings, the presenters at our 3 meetings, overseas, and tonight's meetings. Thanks to Pam, from the committee to elect Pam. And I too thank them for their unwavering support to this campaign. And so, calling all district voters, if you want progress, what do you have to do? Right, vote Pam Webster the fish. If you want success, right, vote Pam Webster the fish. If you want to leave a legacy for your children, vote Pam Webster the fish. If you want to have proper representation, vote Pam Webster the fish. May God bless Anguilla and bless us all. Thanks for listening. But before we go, we're going to say again another prayer. And I call Wilkins Smith to deliver that prayer.
All right. I would dedicate this prayer to all of us, asking God blessing. So let us reverently bow our heads as I pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, you heard what we had to say here this evening. You see the needs of your people. You hear the voice of our candidate that is about to be our leader in this next election. Father, I ask your blessing upon her because I know and I believe, I must say, that she's very dedicated. She has proven it unto us. I ask that your blessing will always reign upon her and us, the people on the whole of Anguilla, that we would have the best of representation in our island for this coming election. We want to thank you, Father, for our our past leader here, Mr. Kenneth Harrigan, because he have done good justice unto us. He have done his best in his ministry. And not in District 1 alone, Father, but he have done it throughout the whole island. I ask your blessing upon everyone who is here tonight. And I'm asking you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ that you could convey our hearts that we will vote for Pam Webster is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.